Respect, not your genuine love, respect page. I hope your day's coming along well so far. You know, regardless of your culture, the color of your skin, your sexual orientation, your disability, at the end of the day, or if you elderly, when you're a human, you're a human. Respectfully. And if you endure trauma at an early age and you're a human being, your life matters. You know, and regardless to how old you are, if something is impacting your life, something is playing an impact in your life, even if you decide to wear a mask or not, when something is bothering you, something's bothering you. And how do you address it, especially when you ignore it for so long and it became your norm to move forward with life, but it's impacting you on your day-to-day activities, far as you progressing in life, as to how far you can elevate in life, as to this is stopping you and affecting you in ways because you're dealing with depression, anxiety, and you overthink yourself. You psych yourself out of your thought process. you know and being that you psych yourself out of your own thought process, you come up with ideas, you come up with plans how to move forward, and you don't succeed because you feel like you're missing something, but you don't know what you're missing. That very little piece of you that you want genuine peace within yourself, to say, you know what, just because someone overlooked me or somebody gave up on me, at the end of the day, I could be my best self vision of myself, regardless to who overlooked me, regardless to who bypassed me and didn't allow me to see myself in a point of view where, you know what, listen, I love me today. I'm gonna continue to love me, regardless if you overlooked that or you didn't see the benefit to say you acknowledge me in a healthy way, besides try to bring me down at my most weakest moments of my life. Dealing with childhood trauma is not easy, especially when you have not did the proper healing for it. And acknowledging it, that energy hit different. Acknowledging that, hey, I'm not right within myself because this is impacting me. Or I want this person to be in my life, but they don't want to be part of my life. And I'm beating myself up between two, trying to figure out why this person mentally doesn't want to be bothered with me, compared to, you know what, I still live my I still do my day-to-day activities for myself, to show up for myself, but it's still something that's still bothering me in an unhealthy way. How do I show up for myself without allowing this to impact my life anymore moving forward? Or how do I not allow this to impact my life moving forward because my biological parents were on drugs and I lost them at an early age? Or my biological parents were on drugs and they didn't know how to love me. They didn't know how to show up for me. Or my biological parents was on drugs and I never heard I love you. Or I had biological parents and they weren't on drugs, but they didn't know how to love me, so I never heard I love you. Or I genuinely had parents who showed up for me in a healthy way and they never disrespected me in no shape or form. They didn't allow me to feel unworthy of myself. They showed up at my most weakest moments of my life as a child. Everybody walk of life is different. Then you got them you have those who endured molestation at a young age by their own folks. Or you had those who endured dealing with narcissist parents to psych them out of their thought process and thinking certain things were the norm and it wasn't healthy at all. Or then you had those parents who didn't want to be parents and walk away. So dealing with trauma and dealing with abandonment issues, all you wanted somebody to do is show up for you and love you with no excuses. Because the very so close people that you thought were supposed to protect you and genuinely love you They couldn't even show up for you the most. How you look at it is the most simplest way. Is to be present in a healthy way. And then they sit there and blame you because you were the child. You were the child, and you gotta take the responsibility as the child, as an adult. So since you gotta take the responsibility as the adult, right? Since you gotta take the responsibility, right? Being that you're an adult now, as that child, and they held you accountable as an adult, as a child age, it just goes to show you at the end of the day how mentally strong and how prepared you was when you was ready for this mission. You was ready for this mission before you even knew you was ready for this mission. Because you had parents that was installed within you that allow you to see, you know what? This hurts. If this is what pain is supposed to feel, this is not what I'm deserving of. If this is what hurt is supposed to feel like, and I'm still I'm an adult now. They gave me a torch to break a curse that was endured within me, that was unhealthy. But now that I'm an adult, I'm aware of myself, and being that I'm aware of myself, I can show for myself in a healthy way, regardless to what trauma I just been through, regardless who done let me down, who gave up on me at the end of the day. That's what happens with life. People disappoint you every single day if you allow them to. People pick and choose when they want to deal with you, right? Because if you allow them to. But facing your own music is a process within a process to allow you to see, you know what? I'm more stronger than I thought I was. You'd be very surprised. Once you're at peace with yourself, that energy hit different. Because you're something that you're craving for, to be at peace with yourself. Once you get to the stage of being at peace with yourself, and I say this respectfully, you're going to be like, yo, I waited all this fucking time. You fucking people. You had me fucked up. What the fuck? Yeah. Had you bent out of shape out here. Big out of shape. All because you wanted somebody to love you. All because you wanted somebody to genuinely be present and they didn't want to be present. In some cases, it's not in our hands to allow someone to want to show for us. But becoming adults and what we endured as children, we should want better for our lives in a healthy way. We should want to be able to prosper in a way where, you know what? I endured this abandonment issues as a child. This is not what I want to attract as when I move forward in my future. It's not what I want to attract as human beings. No, I don't. I don't want to attract someone feeling like they can show up when they feel like it in an unhealthy way, or disappoint me in an unhealthy way, because that's not what I'm bringing to the table. You see how you dealt with that abandonment issue as a child, and you see how you dealing with it as an adult. You still dealing with abandonment issues. Still dealing with abandonment issues. Tea so good. Yes, so good. You know, dealing with abandonment issues from a young age will allow you to feel like you unworthy of yourself. Who do you trust? Who can you confide in when you're dealing with those type of emotions? Especially when people have to live their own lives. And let alone you feel like, you know what, I got to keep everything to myself. Because I don't trust nobody. I don't trust people. You know, when those conversations where you try to be vulnerable with people and they took your words and they bashed you with your own words, like you wasn't worthy of yourself. Or you had those conversations and somebody just laughed in your face or allows you to feel unworthy of yourself. Or you did speak up for yourself and that person allows you to feel like, yo, I can't trust you. So you had to keep it to yourself type of energy. And being that you kept it to yourself type of energy, it only allowed you to feel like, you know what, everything just keep piling up, piling up, piling up on top of piling up, piling up, piling up. Everything keep piling up. And it's getting more uncomfortable for you now. Because now it's like, damn, I want to progress in a healthy way within myself. I want to elevate in a way where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be uncomfortable. I want to be comfortable with life. But I'm allowing myself to be uncomfortable because I'm allowing my past to reflect my present. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to allow my past to reflect my present. I want to be able to show up for myself in a healthy way. Like, you know, you could be doing something for yourself and you could be so in tune with it. You could be so in tune with it, right? And the moment that you were so in tune with it, you just get emotionally, like you so emotional. Like, what the fuck? Like, you asking yourself is, what's going on, self? Thought process, what's going on? Are you okay? Thought process, what's going on? Talk to me. And you allow them to register and something from your childhood comes up. It could be the smallest thing. But when you at your most like you're trying moments where you're trying for yourself, when you feel like you're trying for yourself, to be strong for yourself, it's like these emotions just come up to par. Like, they just come up to play. Like, they just come to the surface. They just coming up to the surface. And as they keep coming up to the surface, it's like, yo, I'm not allowing myself to feel like this, but this is how I feel. It's just an emotion that I'm feeling. I'm dealing with an experience that I experienced already, but I don't want to deal with this. Or matter of fact, if I do deal with this, how do I deal with this shit in a healthy way? How do I face my own music in a healthy way when it occurs? Instead of me feeling like, you know what, I'm done for the day. I don't want to be bothered with nobody. Or it go from I don't want to be bothered with nobody to, you know what, I'm overeating. I just went into anxiety mode. I just had a depression. I'm overly drinking now. All types of stuff. Being disrespectful for no fucking reason. And taking your anger out on innocent people at the end of the day. Respectfully. And that's not how you want to show up to the world. That's not how you want to show up to the world. Respectfully, that's not how you want to show up to the world. That's not how you want to show up to the world. And being that you don't want to show up to the world like that, when you have those emotions, how do you cope with it? You know, dealing with childhood trauma is not easy. You know, everybody walk of life is different. You know, so you gotta respect the next person's situation. We ain't gotta respect it because of what it is, but we gotta respect the person. Because at the end of the day, everybody had an experience. Everybody had an experience. Everybody's experience is different, and it has its own history and uniqueness behind it. You know, and it's unfortunate that at a child's age, for they say an adult to be still dealing with things that happened when they was 10, 9 years old. Like, how the fuck is that possible? Like, why is that even, like, why? Like, get over it. That's what they say, get the fuck over it. Like, you know, when you have those conversations when you genuinely want to have with somebody who done hurt your feelings and stuff like that, and they say to you is, get over it or whatever. Get over it. Like, why are you holding on to the past for? Like, why are you holding on to the past? Like, then, how am I supposed to confront my past if my past is rejecting me? You feel me? Like, how do I move forward if I don't have to be in contact with my past in order for me to move forward? It can happen. You don't have to always speak to the person who done did you dirty, or who would never tell the truth, or who will always try to make it seem like it was you. Forgiving your inner child, forgiving yourself. Forgiving that child that was hurt. Because that child still lives within you. And that child will always live within you. That child will always live within you. Respectfully. You gotta forgive that child. And forgiving that child, real talk, it takes a lot of patience. Because that baby within you, I'm gonna say it respectfully, that baby within you is hurt. That inner child within you is so hurt. So imagine when it comes to the surface, how all the emotions that you're going to experience from whenever time frame, whatever was bothering you, from whenever time frame was bothering you. And you got to remember too, it went into your adulthood. So whatever abandonment, whatever trauma you was dealing with as a child, and then whatever abandonment and trauma you was dealing with from this age to now, yo, all of that shit gonna come to the surface. But it ain't gonna come to the surface at one time though. That's the fucking crazy part. It's not. It's going. You gotta deal with one emotion at a time. All that shit not gonna come up because that inner child within you is not ready for it to surface and just be like, you know what? Well, you came to me for this right here, and we took care of that. I need a break. Give me a motherfucking break to get my emotions together, motherfucker. You doing too fucking much. I'm happy we doing this shit. Yeah, we doing this shit. We doing it. We healing. We healing. You feel me? So it's baby steps to this shit. It's baby steps, and I say that respectfully. I've been in my healing journey now. I'm not gonna lie, for over 8 years. For over 8 years, and when I say this shit been a process within a process, I done had a fucking fucked up shit, a shithead dealt in my ass. Oh, they need their ass whooped. Respectfully, I think they getting their ass whooped right now spiritually by the higher ups. Yeah, what the fuck, yo? When I say the experience of what you just experienced would never be able to compare to what the fuck you just experienced, and I say that shit respectfully. No, and everybody's different. Everybody's different. And I say this respectfully too. When you dealing with abandonment issues and trauma, and you trying to heal from it, real talk, 101, you gotta be around genuine people who love you and respect you. You can't be around fake and phony people, cause it's not gonna make sense in your book. Or you just gotta be by yourself completely. But you still gotta be on eggshells with motherfuckers though. Stay away from me with your bad energy. Stay away from me with your bad energy. I'm serious. Stay away. Stay the fuck away. I'm over here healing. Yeah, healing something that you don't know how to fucking do. Stop lying to the people in the back with your lying ass. You ain't healing, bitch. You feel me? So you gotta be careful and protect your energy. Protect your energy at all costs, especially when nurturing your inner child. You know, nurturing your inner child, that's the innocence of you still within you. That's the innocence within you. That's the innocent part of you still. Because that inner child is still there. That inner child has not left the building. Just know that inner child has never left the building. It still will always be part of you. But once you get in tune with yourself, and it's baby steps to this shit. It's baby steps to this. It's baby steps. And being patient with yourself and being kind to yourself. Some people don't know how to be kind to themselves. Because they so fucking miserable. Respectfully. They too miserable to understand, like, yo, I'm not even respecting myself right now. Or they got too much demons within them. You gotta remember, some people not ready for their healing process. And some people will never be able to get healed. And I say that respectfully because of the world we live in today. And I say that respectfully. So this is to say is watch and pay attention to who you allow in your circle. Because at the end of the day, motherfuckers is wearing a mask and they wearing that shit so fucking good just to play you fucking close. At the end of the day, and only to find out at the end of the day, the mask just reveals itself. Like, yo, they had no fucking good intentions at all. Their intentions was not pure. Their intentions was not genuine. Ain't nothing about them was genuine at the end of the day. Because they weren't them type of people who like to have control over somebody's life. One of those type of people. It's crazy. Protect your energy. Protect your energy. And especially like when you're doing your healing process too, like people feel like they can take your kindness for weakness too. Like they think that you soft. Like, no, ma'am, sir, listen, it's called healing for a reason. Don't disturb the person's peace. Like, it's just that simple. Don't disturb someone's peace. Especially when they're doing a genuine healing. You feel me? Like, everybody on their spiritual healing right now. They say, everybody on their spiritual healing. No disrespect. But you know who you are. You know who you are. You know who you are. So the one that be playing their own face at the end of the day, talking about they on their spiritual healing, just because everybody else is doing it at the end of the day, it's okay. We know that you're not doing it. It's fucking okay. It's okay. You don't gotta fit in. Like it's okay. Like everything's not for everybody, and that's okay. Respectfully. Believe innocent people along within your process of you being miserable. Respectfully. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. But when you're doing your healing process, it would never be an overnight process. It would never be an overnight process. Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and respect your neighbor. You feel me? Respect your neighbor. Respect your neighbor. You ain't gotta like the person at the end of the day. But kindness and being respectful, that shit would get you a long way, no disrespect. It would get you a long way. You know? And this is to say this. Never allow someone to suck out of your thought process because they're miserable. Never allow someone to suck out of your freedom because they're miserable. Never allow someone to suck out of your thought process because you genuinely love yourself in a healthy way. Because they're miserable. Loving yourself is not a crime. You know, it takes about 5, 15, 20 minutes out of the day to take time for yourself, to acknowledge yourself in a healthy way. Or even when you just get up in the morning, when you first acknowledge yourself. You know, this page is not for everybody, and that's okay. Like, this page is not for everybody. But to get in tune with yourself, it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of patience. Like, you can't just start saying, okay, well, I addressed this problem with myself today, and I spoke to this person, and my family member and I, we gonna be on the same page, and you still having these same emotions coming to the surface at the end of the day as to, okay, well, I did have this conversation with this family member who brought this trauma into my life, but why am I still feeling this emotion? Because you haven't dealt with it yet. You haven't dealt with it. You feeling like, okay, well, I'm living my life or whatever the case may be, but why am I still dealing with these emotions? Because you haven't dealt with it yet. Yeah, just because you spoke to somebody about an emotion that you was feeling, that's one thing. But you haven't physically dealt with your own emotions at the end of the day. You know, like, that's like saying you and your biological parents, right? They didn't endure trauma within you. Y'all came to terms, okay, well, everything is gonna be okay moving forward. We agreed, you know, they were wrong. I got that off my chest. It felt good to get off my chest. We spoke. We all live in a happy-go-lucky life. But you're experiencing childhood trauma still. You're still experiencing why you was left in that bed pissy. You still experiencing why you was left in that motherfucking closet for hours at a time. Your ass still having nightmares because you haven't addressed your trauma. You talked about it with them. but you haven't addressed it yet. You said you brought it to the surface, but you haven't addressed it within. It's one thing talking about it with the people who hurt you, but really physically addressing it with yourself, that energy hit different. That's like saying, regardless if they was around or not, no disrespect. Yeah, it's one thing getting it off your chest. But at the same time, too, as time is progressing, you're still dealing with what done transpired within what transpiring at the end of the day. Because it has not been addressed. No disrespect. It happens. It happens. And it's okay. But that's why you have to have patience with yourself. You can have a whole 2-hour conversation with somebody, a 4-hour conversation with somebody, and you still feel the same fucking way. Hello, what the fuck? Hello, make it make sense, ma'am, sir. You can still feel the same way. No disrespect. They hurt you, right? You addressing them like, yo, y'all hurt me. They come into agreement, it's all your fault. Okay, fuck your thought process at this point. Whatever. So now that they saying it's your fault, what was the point of you going to them and addressing something and it still falls back on you to deal with your own problems? So, damn if you did, damn if you didn't, you still gonna be at square one all over again with yourself, with your thought process saying, you know what? I still gotta reevaluate my own thought process right now. Because damn if I did address it, damn if I didn't address it, at the end of the day, I'm gonna still be right here at square one, addressing my own problems. Wow. You can express how you feel all day long. You could talk about how you feel all day long. But when you leave that conversation with them people at the end of the day, you left with the clearing mind state at the end of the day. They was physically there and you spoke to them. So when you leave them and go about your day, you reevaluating your thought process as to, it was pointless sitting there talking to them. Because I'm still feeling the same way I felt. I still feel the same way I feel. So, damn if they was there, damn if they was or not. You still gonna feel the same way. No disrespect. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I'm speaking realistically. This is life. Having a conversation with somebody, everybody's not on the same mental state. Everybody's not on the same mental status. That's first and foremost. And that's okay. But I say this to say this, because everybody deals with different situations differently. And a lot of people wear masks. A lot of people wear a fucking mask. And being that the person who wears the mask is the one who's going to fucking speak the loudest. Oh, that's some bullshit. Yeah, of course you would say that. Some people would say, okay, well, I spoke to the person or whatever the case may be. Go about their fucking life and let it be. But someone who is genuinely and authentically willing to face their own music is willing to get to the root of the problem. And address it correctly. Not address it half-assed. Not address it to the point where, you know what? I don't want this to resurface in a negative, unhealthy way. I want this to maybe resurface one day in a healthy way where I can look back at it and, you know what, and not get emotionally distressed over it. Not get too emotional, overwhelmed with myself and allow myself to psych myself out of my own thought process when I was just at peace with myself and allow this situation to allow me to go into depression stages. Or allow this to continue to move forward with my adulthood, and I don't want this to be part of my adulthood in an unhealthy way. So when you're dealing with trauma, you gotta address it. Regardless if the person is alive, regardless if the person is here or not, at the end of the day. And it already shows. It already shows how life can be so beautiful when someone goes to the other side. And I say that respectfully. Because one thing about life, we have to accept death. And if you can't accept death, you're not ready to accept, like, you're not ready to accept life in a healthy way. And I say that respectfully. You're gonna continue to feel the way you feel. Like, you're gonna continue to feel how you feel. Like, and fear is gonna continue to stop you. And that's all I'm gonna say. Like, fear is gonna continue to stop you. And that's it. Like, fear is gonna be, fear is gonna allow you to continue not to be able to show up as your best self vision of yourself. And if you live in fear, how you gonna progress? How you gonna see the others? How you gonna see the other side for what it really is for yourself? Like, how can you allow yourself to blossom if you wanna live in fear? People say they're not living in fear, but if you wasn't living in fear, you wouldn't be a hater in disguise. You wouldn't be malicious or jealous over the next person or trying to kill the next person at the end of the day because they got more money than you. When you can have the same amount of money as them or more. If you wasn't in fear, respectfully, if you wasn't in fear, you would be able to elevate. If you wasn't in fear, you would be able to be like your celebrity, whoever you look up to, an idol or whatever the case may be. You wouldn't be in fear. You would be progressing in a healthy way if you wasn't in fear. If you wasn't in fear, but evidently you in fear, and then being that you're in fear of somebody else elevating in a healthy way at the end of the day, you being in fear, you gotta take somebody's you gotta psych somebody out their thought process and take their freedom from them, take their life from them, take their self-love for them, allow them to see another day because you're jealous and envious over them. Like, make it make sense, ma'am, sir. You know, having hope is powerful. Having hope is very powerful. Being a self-believer is very powerful. Having respect for others and having respect for yourself is very powerful. Having respect is powerful. Something that a lot of people will not be able to identify or understand at the end of the day because they're not used to it. They're not used to someone genuinely respecting them, let alone loving them. So if you're not used to something like that, so when it's in front of you, you wouldn't know how to value, let alone cherish it. Make it make sense, ma'am, sir. Stop living in fear. Stop living in fear. You want to disrespect somebody because they elevating in life. You want to disrespect somebody because they allowing their best self vision to show up. Oh, how did they overcome that? They wasn't living in fear no more, duh. Hello, what the fuck? They stopped living in fear. They stopped being in fear of your ass. Why they in fear for? What they scared for? It's nothing to be scared about at the end of the day. They came out their comfort zone, something that you need to learn how to do. Instead of wearing a mask, being a hater in disguise. This shit is not healthy and it's not attractive. There's nothing cute about it. Being a hater in disguise. Respectfully. Being a hater in disguise, that shit should be a crime. It should be part of hate crime. That shit should be part of hate crime. Being a hater in disguise is unhealthy. Especially when you try to bring harm towards somebody. Especially. Even just the thought process alone itself, like, for what? To have malicious intentions? So you gotta disrespect somebody's character within the process because you're envious over them? Oh my God. Oh my God. What the fuck? It's you. Like, make it make sense, ma'am, sir. It's the thought process for me. It's just the thought process for me. Protect your energy. To the genuine ones, I truly appreciate your time. You know, living in fear will allow you to feel like you cannot show up for yourself in a healthy way. Living in fear will allow you to feel like whoever disrespected you, they thought process you, was right. That you are unworthy of yourself. But that's false. That's not true. You know, it's more disturbing when you hear disrespect from your own folks. Like, you know, to hear your biological parents say that you retarded, you stupid, you're unworthy of yourself, you know, you're dumb, you're stupid or whatever. To hear that from your own biological parent, I will understand why you would feel like you need to live in fear. I can understand why you feel like you're unworthy of yourself. I can understand why you would feel like someone doesn't love you, and why, if they do, why would they be talking to you like that? I totally understand. Or even if that was that family member, that mother or that father that physically fought you, like if you was a stranger in the street. And they were supposed to protect you and love you. And they didn't know how to do that. They didn't know how to do that. And they try to discredit your character as something that you're not. But you was patient with yourself. You allowed yourself to be patient this far. You can start your healing process for yourself to allow yourself to know, you know what I endured, that was some fucked up shit. It was. It was so messed up. But you know what? Moving forward, I'm gonna allow my best self-vision to show up, because I refuse to allow any sort of third party allow them to feel like, yo, they got the upper hand. They don't got the upper hand. You grown now. You grown. And allow somebody's trauma that was endured within you, and it caused trauma within you. So allow that to elevate any more forward, moving forward. That shit's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You know how they say no disrespect is tolerated in the building when people being respectful and all that? No funny shit. No more trauma. No more trauma. That's banned trauma. What's up? I'm with it. That's banned trauma. That's banned trauma. You know how that energy would feel if you banned trauma? Like ban disrespect. Not allow trauma to move any more forward in your next part of your journey. That's banned it. You want to show for yourself in a healthy way for your next part of your journey? It's ban trauma. And the only way to ban trauma is you. That's the only way it's going to be able to be banned. It's you. With life comes death. No disrespect. We have to accept it for what it is. It's part of life. And if you can accept that, that energy hit different for you showing up for yourself in a healthy way. You already had your days where you wasn't able to see for yourself. You already had your days where you had your fair share of, okay, this is how I could show up for myself in a healthy way, and this is not what I want to accept moving forward. You're that best self vision of yourself. You can allow it to show up every single day of your life if you allow your best self vision to show up in a healthy way. And you remove anything that's toxic around you. And you remove anything that was draining your energy that's not for you, that doesn't hold no purpose for you. Or something that's bringing value to you. If the energy is not reciprocated when it comes to certain people, at the end of the day, you got to leave it alone. You can't continue to keep helping somebody at the end of the day if they don't want to help themselves. Respectfully. You can't keep helping people. You know, it's a beautiful thing to help people, but a person that doesn't want to help themselves, you got to fall back. Because there's genuine people out here that want help, that don't abuse the help. They meet you halfway. You know, those authentic people who don't have to wear masks, they who they are. They say who they say they are. That don't have malicious intentions. You know, there are still genuine, authentic people out here. You know? But at the same time, too, you got to protect your energy. You got to protect your energy. You got to protect your energy. Like I said, when you start your healing process, it would never be an overnight process. It would never be an overnight process. But getting in tune with yourself is a beautiful gift within the gift. Because you are the gift to yourself. You are the gift to yourself. No disrespect. You are the blessing in disguise. Be patient with yourself. Continue to be kind to yourself. It starts with you. It starts with you. Regardless to who gave up on you, who overlooked you at the end of the day. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Respect. Now you're genuine love. Respect. Never allow someone to psych your thought process because they're miserable. Never allow someone to psych your thought process because you genuinely love yourself in a healthy way because they're miserable. Never allow someone to psych your freedom because they're miserable. Your life matters 365 days with no malicious intention to bring harm towards anyone. Love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Respect.